Do you think anyone's gonna care about these changes, Amicus? Well, I would think people would care. Everyone's a critic.
What is wrong with you?
Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of The Gloving Paradigm, where I'm your host Peter, aka LD8 Dubuque, and yeah, I know some of you are going to yell at me for clickbaiting this, but you know, clickbait works, and I have to get your guys' attention somehow. So yeah, as you guys can probably tell, I'm making a few changes, and these are not like simple, small little changes that anyone can do super easily. No, this actually took a lot of thoughts, and in all honesty, I actually kind of needed an outside source to give me the necessary push to implement these changes, because I have a track record for that, for whatever reason. I don't know why. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. If you're somebody who really just doesn't care about any other things I say and you just want to know the brass tacks of what I'm doing in terms of changes, just click on the chapter that says TLDR. It'll literally just break it down to a summary so you guys don't have to sit through it. But I would recommend if you guys kind of stick around and watch the entire video instead of just skipping to the end, because it actually helps me out when you guys watch my videos all the way through. So before we can talk about the changes, we gotta talk about how we pretty much got to this point. Just for context for people who, for whatever reason, watched this as their first video they watched from me. I started an audio podcast back in 2016 on Magic the Gathering. I did that for a year as a challenge to myself to see how I can get back into the competitive scene and how I navigate the metagame. I got the inspiration from the movie Julie and Julia, so you now know what got me into podcasting.
Thanks, I hate it.
This, however, quickly devolved into an echo chamber of NTG news, which is what everyone else was doing. So I dropped it as soon as I completed that year. Even when I ended that podcast, I spoke about starting another one on gloving, but didn't follow through with it until a single phone call from a very close friend gave me the motivational push to launch it. So, in 2018, I started the Gloving Paradigm, with the goal in mind to create content about gloving to fill in the void that was the sheer lack of content about gloving, and inspiring other people to also create content about gloving. Things were fine for the most part. I moved to a new place and managed to keep myself consistent with posting on a weekly basis.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
2020 came along and, well, you know what happened. You were there, I'm sure. Unless this is like 2040 and somehow this video is still accessible to you. In that case, hi! How are things going in the world right now for you? Please comment down below to tell us.
It's 2040.
What?
Our president is a plant.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding.
As I was stuck in my home, I had more time on my hands. Heh, get it? Time on my hands. Anyways, I got invited to a digital lab session from Starstream Tut on the Worldwide Glovers Discord server, link in the description. This filled a much needed void of social interaction, and it quickly became my pastime during our global house arrest. Here is when the first major change to how I make content occurred, as it was the member of this Discord server who wanted visual application to my content. So I started making videos after 2 years of being an audio podcast. Looking back on that now, I definitely needed to learn how to do videos better, and I feel like I did that over the next year and a half. So you may be wondering, why didn't I just start with video content in the first place? Well, I have a few reasons for that. Firstly, I was very familiar with audio podcasting as it was, and I already had the equipment for it, so I wanted to start with what I was already familiar with. I figured it was a good place to start, as it was to start with, basically. You guys know where I'm getting with it. 2, there was already a video podcast for gloving starting around the same time as I did. It actually launched a couple months before I did. I think they launched in August, if I remember correctly. It was known as the Gloving Nucleus, which covered more interview style content and also talked more about coverage, which was really exciting at the time. Unfortunately, it did not follow all the way through. And I wanted to focus on educational content to be in the regards of you listen to it while you're at work or running errands as you're trying to consume as much content about gloving as it is. And that's where I was doing my educational style content, so you guys can listen to it while you're at work and stuff, because I thought that was something that was kind of needed. You know, it's a way to consume content or be able to learn more about gloving and think about gloving on a constant basis, where you can actually start getting the stuff down. Third reason is because I didn't have any video editing experience, and I didn't even have the equipment to do that either, so it was kind of hard for me to sit here and be like, yeah, let me just jump right into video editing. Little did I know that there was some stuff that would have been easy, and there's a lot more stuff that's a lot harder, and it's also more time consuming. As some people might suggest to you that it takes about the same amount of time. No, actually, just doing audio only didn't take me much time to do. Video takes me a lot longer to do. And of course, the fourth and final reason is my own ignorance, because I'm now in my 30s, and you know, I tend to just be rather ignorant on things, especially when it came to video editing. And trust me, when I jumped into video editing, my ignorance really showed, because I didn't understand what I was actually doing and learning how to curate. Boy, how the times have changed for me. Okay, so now we know how we got here. Let's take a look at what we got.
Hell yeah, 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 hell yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that anyone who finds my videos and starts binge watching them will quickly see the homogeny of the quality of them collectively. What I mean is that you can watch a bunch of them and they'll bleed together as if you were watching one whole video rather than a series of them. There are a few reasons for this I have touched on previously, but has also affected how my videos come out. Sure, I was new to anything video related when it comes to content creation, but I never really tried to break away from it either, mostly because I didn't know how to do that. Let's keep in mind that I am a single person who is trying to do 20 different jobs I only just started to learn about, while also working a day job, and a marriage to uphold, and a house that I'm renting to keep from falling apart. You can see now how this can be something that only a mad person can do without losing their goddamn mind. I, unfortunately, am not a superhuman and can pull all of this off with the quality of a fully staffed team. So I started to reflect on how I make my content compared to what I was seeing with many content creators I follow, and started to notice the correlation of the quality of videos and the upload schedule they follow. Many of the channels I follow who have really high quality videos would upload once a month, if that with certain ones. Most of these channels who can upload more frequently with the same quality of these other ones have more than one person doing the work, whether it be the editing, the research, the scripting, etc, etc, etc. You know, the resources I don't have access to or cannot afford with my budget.
I need some money immediately.
Then 3 things happened to become the deciding factors on these changes. Okay, so the first thing that pretty much was a major deciding factor of this change was that I recently participated and completed an online competition while also trying to make content about it as I was going through it. Did not work out very well. I was really burnt out that yeah, I would commit to recording my videos for the competition, but when it came to actually making content about me recording and practicing, you know, taking in all the feedback that I was getting from the judges and all that stuff, I burnt out hardcore. And I'm surprised that I even made it through that competition the way I did, and surprised enough that my team actually won. Now granted, yes, it was on a tiebreaker, so yeah, Dustin, I know. But it did cause a massive amount of burnout to me. Like, yeah, I can record videos like finger shows and stuff when I'm in the mood for it, and I try to get a lot, which I tend to do get a lot. But then there's just like weeks on end where I'm just like, I have no motivation to do anything anymore because I'm just so tired. And Flowtron really compounded that. Now, I will say this, it was not Flowtron, it wasn't anyone who was running it, it wasn't any of their faults, it was literally all me. It was my fault. I burned myself out. I didn't think I was going to burn myself out as easily, but I did. It was pretty rough. The second deciding factor that caused these changes to happen was on a different project that I do, entirely. And I don't really mention it at all here on this channel for the reason that I think nobody in the gloving community would actually be very interested in consuming this kind of content. But yes, I do run a second channel. I have a completely different topic matter that I go on that channel, and if you're interested in looking it up, you can go ahead and look it up. It is known as the Lingua Manga Podcast, and it's pretty much a different style of content that I make where I talk about manga, a very specific genre within manga known as bara, or geikomi where it's properly known in Japan. Basically, it's just a manga channel where I cover LGBT manga. Like that's literally all it is. So if you want to go check it out, it's up there. Go have fun. But very recently, as a little over a week ago at the time of this recording, I released a video that was an updated version of my history episode that this video pretty much blew up compared to how my other videos blow up, especially when it comes to this channel. So at the time of this recording, we're a little over 3,000 views. It broke over 2,000 views within a day. So yeah, I know it teetered off really quickly, but that's huge. I have not had a video ever do that. So to see it explode in that fashion was huge. And when I kind of compare this kind of content to the content I make on this channel, the best video that I have in terms of numbers is my morphing episode, which, only has like 300, so 10 times less. But I did put the same amount of effort and production into making that video as I did with my manga channel video. So that's the next thing, is that if I can get this to happen on this channel, that means I need to put in more time to make the videos in a higher quality like I did on my other channel to happen here. The final factor basically comes in after me releasing this video. And it is a very close friend of mine, also a co-host on the Gloving Talks, so you guys know who he is. It's Josh, I actually had a conversation with him about pretty much my schedule here, and he even asked me if I was actually experiencing burnout. And that's pretty much where this all came to a head, is where I kind of just confessed to him, yeah, I've been burnt out doing this for a while, and I've been thinking about changing my schedule, and I thought it would be a smart idea to change it at a certain point in time in terms of an episode count, and pretty much learned very quickly that it's probably not a good idea to wait. It probably would be a better time to do it now. And those are the reasons why I decided to make these changes. So, what exactly am I going to be changing here? Firstly, I think the idea of a podcast is good to still have. And I finally got other people involved with the monthly installment of Gloving Table Talks, so check one for long-term goals. Secondly, I think I achieved the goal of inspiring other people to start making content about gloving that is unique to them, and that gives other people more options to choose from. Thirdly, I have been wanting to do more with my other channel for content that I haven't been able to do with the current upload schedule on this channel. And I don't think it's fair for that growing audience to suffer from neglect when I can put in the same amount of time for both if I follow the same schedule fashion that other channels have done. So, I think that it's time for the brand of the gloving paradigm to expand beyond what it has been. I'm changing it to be just a channel, where I make different styles of content that can feel more distinct from each other with higher quality. I will upload once a month at a minimum, and try to have 2 uploads a month on a bi-weekly consistency. I feel like this will allow me to work on content in a much more critical approach and still retain my creativity with my style of content, while also putting in the necessary time to curate to a higher standard than before. This will allow me more flexibility to work with other members of the community due to pretty much all of us having a very busy schedule already, and have more time to collaborate on content that I have been brainstorming for a while. I will confess that this is something that I have been mulling around in my noggin for a few months now, and I think it's time to finally implement it, instead of waiting until I got to episode 200 and then changing the schedule like I originally intended. Sure, it's a nice round number, but how burnt out would I be if I waited another year basically? Would I want to subject myself to something that I feel like has been eating away at me creatively without any guaranteed dividends to show for it? I don't think that's healthy for anyone to put themselves through, and neither should I. Okay, so the TLDR of this entire thing is basically I'm changing my upload schedule from a weekly to a monthly minimum with a bi-weekly consistency goal expectation in order to provide higher curated quality content about gloving in the hopes of making my content more distinct from each other instead of it bleeding into itself, like I stated previously. And I'm making these changes after consistently posting for 3.5 years and achieving the goal of having other people become content creators in various ways with varying styles of content in the gloving community. That's basically it. That's all you need to know. And if you didn't want to watch like the 10 minutes of the video that this video came out to be, then I'll try to make them shorter, I guess. But other than that, there's not much more I need to go into. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. So thank you to everybody who's watched this video. The usual YouTube stuff that I always have to say. If you have anything to ask me or you have any comments, please put it down in the comment section down below. You can also follow me on any of my social media that I have linked in the description below. And if you really want to help me out, you can like, share, and subscribe to my channel. That's all absolutely for free, and it does help me out in more ways than you realize. But of course, if you also want to help me out in just a little bit extra ways, please don't hesitate donating to my Ko-Fi. The link of that will be in the description below. Do not hesitate to go check that out. But other than that, there's not much more I need to go into. So, I am your host, Peter, aka LPD Dubuque, and I'll see you guys all next time.